Alfie, your whispering is very loud. Why is that? Alfie, seriously, I can really hear you. Alfie's concept of whispering is not the same as mine. I don't know if I need to have that like that to do chat. That's fine. We'll move along a little bit. Smash. Sort myself out. Hopefully we'll have some people along tonight. It's a bit warm, but and I know there's lots going on in the evenings on different social medias. Hello, Caroline. Actually, let's put it on a pretty page. Suddenly thought, don't really want to just be looking at a blank page for the moment, do we? How are you, Caroline? Doing okay? Not melting too much, I hope. Oh, I still find it really strange talking on YouTube. It doesn't feel the same. Oh, it's been a bit more cloudy here today. I thought it wasn't as warm, but it may be just be we're getting used to it, because when I looked on my phone, it said it was like even hotter than yesterday. Do you know what? Your comment is there, and I want, if I do that, will that? No, then I can't see the comments at all. I don't think. I'll have to have it like that. But I can read part of your comment, and then there's a little heart button, which I don't know what happens when I press that. What happens when it's got all the reactions. So all the reactions are. I had a lazy day. That was the word I couldn't read. It was hidden under the heart. Now I know that that's where, if I'd done those hearts, let me see. Oh, do you know, I didn't know you could do reactions on a YouTube live. Now I've discovered you can. Hi, Martin. Oh dear. So that it's mad. That. Now you're all discovering the reaction button. I'm going to get started, I think, because I think people will come along as they realise. I think not Facebook, YouTube takes a little while to notify and things like that. So I am going to be using the new Night Skies collection. I better go through it quickly in case there's people watching afterwards who don't know what I'm talking about. So this is my latest collection of stamps that I have designed for Cleverprints Limited, and I'm going to be going on HobbyMaker TV. And if you're watching from anywhere else in the world, that's a UK channel for craft. On Sunday, this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. That's British summertime. And I'm going to be launching these stamps. So I've got 3 A6 stamps: Luna Moth, Lunar Elements, and Celestial Sentiments, and one, I should have left that on there, and one new stencil, Starry Night, which I'm going to use in my journal. So as well as lots of lives I've been doing this week, lots, three, done 3 lives this week, goodness. One to launch it on the Cleverprints Facebook page last Sunday. Then I did one Monday evening when I made a canvas, and then I did one Thursday evening in Craft Together with All Brands on Facebook, where I did a card. So I thought I'd do one on my YouTube channel as well, so I'm covering all bases. I don't know why I'm putting that away, I need that. And I thought, because my channel is art journaling. I obviously do an art journal page. And then I was thinking, what can I do that's a bit different to what I've already done? So I thought, I know, I'm going to go vintage style. Now, this is an old book that I use to do art journaling. It was, I think, I must have done this in a Cleverprints live on Facebook, mustn't I? This one. This one, I think I've done on a video on YouTube. So it's a book that has literally fallen apart. You can tell I have had to really stick bits together with this. But it's a book I bought in a it wasn't a charity shop. It was in the like the shipwreck centre in at Arraton on the island, on the Isle of Wight. And it was a couple of pounds, and it was, I didn't realise how badly it was falling apart, to be totally honest, but I liked it because it had loads of charts and tables, and it's actually written in German. So I like the fact that I can't understand it. I'm sure some people will be trying to read it, but it's a book about, from what I can gather, boats, which would make sense with the Shipwreck Museum, wouldn't it? It's a boat about boats, and this is like 1815, 1870. So it's like quite old boats. It's got lots of, by the looks of it, facts and figures, and I'm guessing that's what all these tables are, is like different, I don't Norwegian, Swedish, I don't know. But it's lots of stuff about these boats. And I just like the texture it gives you in the background. So I thought I'd use a couple of pages in here to do a vintagey sort of page. So I'm going to be using my new stamps and stencil, but I've also then thought, oh, do you know what, I'd like to get some different sorts of papers out. So I've got this, again, I bought this in a charity shop. It's a massive old ledger. It's not got anything in it. It's just, well, it's got paper in it, but it obviously wasn't ever used. So I bought it because I wanted the ledger paper. So I've got some bits of the ledger paper, and again from a charity shop. Charity shops are your friend. Martin, charity shops are your friend, to say, when you want bits and bobs for crafting. And this is a pattern, a sewing pattern. I've got a couple of these, but it's a really thin paper, so it's really good if you want to rip it and do backgrounds or even to stamp on. So I thought we'd use a bit of that. Then I dragged out my washi tapes, and I had a few that have got a sort of like celestial theme, which goes with my stamps and stencils. So I've got this one, which I think is phases of the moon. Now these I bought, I think I got them off of Amazon or somewhere, and it was just a set of generic different sizes of washi tape that were all different patterns on them. Hi Tracy. And this one has got phases of the moon, so I thought that'd be nice. In fact, I might just start by just sticking some of that onto the page. That's, if you're new to art journaling, or even to any background making, sometimes having something just stuck all over your background is a really good starting point. It must have had a bit of a celestial theme in these washi tapes that I bought, because I had that one, and then I've got this one, which is like little tiny stars and moons. That's a much thinner one, so you might not be able to see that as well. I can never remember where the camera bit is on the phone. I think it's there. So that's like little tiny stars and moons. I'll show you that one a bit closer up as well. So that was the phases of the moon. That was tiny stars and moons. And then I've got these two, which were like numerical ones. So I've got just numbers. I think this is meant to be linked to the calendar. It must have been to do with time, mustn't it? Yeah, that's what it must have been, all about time, because I've got another one that's got the months of the year on as well, and I think I might have even had days of the week. So it was obviously a time-themed bundle. So this goes up to 31, so it's the numbers of the month, and then it also got Roman numerals. So I thought they might be nice with it as well, because it all sort of links in. So what should we do? Shall we do some? We'll do some colours to start with. So I've hoiked out, that's a technical term, my distress inks. So these are the original distress inks. Now, old paper, I never use old paper. I've had it. It's one of the first ones I bought. Hopefully it's still okay. I think it is, because I've never been overly keen on it, because I thought it was going to be more of a creamy, vintagey beige sort of colour, and it's got a sort of green tinge, which I wasn't keen on, but I got it out just because I thought, well, let's have a go with it. Antique linen, one of my favourites. Tea dye, another of my favourites. In fact, all of these are probably my favourites. And vintage photo. Then I just decided, oh, I'll just get out all my browns. So we've got walnut stain, and then gathered twigs and rusty hinge. So rusty hinge is sort of more on that sort of orangey sort of spectrum, and the gathered twigs is more of a tree bark brown. But I mean, vintage photo is just ideal. And then I thought, well, you can't have it without having a little bit of your patinas in. So I've got a salvage patina and, of course, peacock feathers, because why not? So let's go mad and go with the old paper, because it's a colour I feel that I don't like. But, you know, I might now discover that it's one of my favourite. Now, I got these out just because my little stencil, my little brushes are not going to cut it for this. My domed foams I keep for my oxides. So I thought I'd use my foam blenders, because my big brushes, I think I've damaged them or something. This one in particular, the blue one, isn't really blending very nicely anymore. So I think I need to give them a good wash with possibly some fabric softener, or, you know, something proper, or maybe some shampoo. So I'm going with my foam blenders, and they do give you quite a wide coverage. So let's see what this is like. Now, this is just your normal sort of book paper, but I have stuck, I think, looks like I've maybe stuck 3 pages together on each side, and I've also glued like stencil tape down the middle of my pages, just to hold, partially to stop things going through, but also because the book is literally falling apart. I mean, this is just the rust from where the bits it was being held together. So I have sort of prepared the pages. Yeah, to be fair, it looks just like a slightly greener version of that. You can't overly see that colour, I don't think. Just stick a few bits on. Oh no, I can see it on there. Let's just give it a little bit, and then we'll put some of the darker colours on. So actually, I mean, for all that I've just slandered the colour of old paper, and I'm sure Tim Holtz, it's probably one, I've got a feeling I have heard him say it's one of his favourites. He'd be horrified by me criticising it, but it actually is the colour of old paper. Maybe when I've been putting it sort of straight onto white, it's not giving me the look, because it's had too much of that greeny tinge. Anybody else use old paper? Because, as in the colour, because now I'm going to feel really bad if you all go, oh yeah, it's one of my favourites, and you've just been slating it. Actually, now I'm using it on here. It is a really good one for if you want to, if you had a piece of paper and you wanted to age it. It's a nice sort of tone to it. Try not to be too hard with my arm. Right, let's a bit more over here, I think. I feel like I should have put it in the all in every corner, but I do actually rather like that after all that criticising it. Right, let's have that one. And where's a bit of antique linen, bit of antique linen colour on it. Oh, now that actually, with this, the antique linen is not really showing up as much now as the old paper. You use it sometimes for vintage. Yeah, maybe I should have not have just hidden it underneath all the others and ignored it. I think I just always thought it had that greenness to it, so that was probably what put me off. So a bit of tea dye. Right, let's put the ones I've used, I'm going to pop over there. Right, let's go with tea dye. I like tea dye. It's sort of like, you know, one step down from vintage photo, I always feel. So, you know, it gives you a vintage look, but it's not quite as dark as vintage photo is. not going to cover the whole lot because obviously it's already got text on here, and I'm going to be putting other things on. So, but just vintage it up a bit more. I have to say, I have no clue really what I am doing with these pages. I'm just you will know as much as me really with this. Let's get some stenciling on. Let's go. Where have I put the stencil? Here. So this Starry Night. Let's go with vintage photo, and let's get some. So let's move that because that's going to annoy me. Right, I'm not going for full on, you know, all of it. I'm just going for bits. So let's get some stencil down. Oh, I like that. Just in that corner there. Let's go. And again, I'm not really overly thinking where I'm putting these. I am just going where the mood takes me at that exact second. And I'm not trying to get it, you know, all of it in one go. I am going to be a little bit more specific in that I do want some more of those stars and not as many of the circles. Oh, they're all going to get in my way now, aren't they? I'm thinking I might then go in with the peacock feathers and put the big moon in there. To be fair, yeah, it's probably a little bit so I have to go like that. It's a bit dark, isn't it? It's a bit builder's tea, isn't it? I suppose it depends how hard you push on your ink blender. I think that would do. Let's have a bit of that. Let's now go with a bit of peacock feathers. Or am I being a bit too like? Oh no, that's all right. That's not too. Let's go into the moon shape a bit. Yeah, I'm not trying to sort of get perfect moons. I just want like a bit of pattern and texture in the background a bit. Let's go with that star as well. Some patina stars, peacock feather stars, I should say. Let's have a little bit coming off the edge because I feel like that's all a bit too much on there. And then let's go up here. Ooh, because as your ink sort of builds on your blending foam or your blending sponge or your blending brush, it will get a bit darker. So I'll probably just put it a bit lighter on there because I think that is really getting a bit darker than I wanted it to. Now let's go across with a bit of that there. And oh, it's very sort of lullaby. That. Let's have some of those peacock feather stars, I think. And some more over here. I love being quite random with them stencils. I don't like it more brown. Oh, let's be. Is it pinky? I didn't think it was pinky. Maybe it looks pinky on the screen. It looks more brown in real life. Actually, no, before I do that, let's just get a bit of that. I think around the edges, I do like to sort of, especially in the corners, do you like to add a bit of shadow around the edge? Helps to just frame it a little bit. Over here. Oops. You do have to be a little bit careful when you stick these. If you're using an old book, or old book pages, they are very thin, and they, you know, sticking them together, they can, if you add too much sort of liquid to them, they can sort of buckle a bit and come unstuck. There we go. So that's that background. what do we want? Shall we put some of these on? Let's leave those till the end actually, and we'll do some stamping onto here for background now. I'm not going to worry about cleaning that off too much. Right, let's go with the circles, because obviously, oh, they're falling off. They're all losing their stickiness because I've used them so much. So from the Luna Moth, I'm going to use the circles to add a bit of background. They do feel, I can even feel that they are, so just a little bit of water on the back just to clean them. And let's get a cloth. So if your stamps don't stick, if you've got like clear cling ones, just give them a little bit of a spritz of water, and then you can clean them properly with, you know, proper soapy water, and then just allow them to dry naturally. Don't let them dry sort of together, because then they might stick together. Right, so let's go with, let's do some archivals. I've got some archival links here for because they won't move if I then put any water-based products over the top of them. So let's go with, we'll stick with the vintage photo. Did I use vintage photo? I did, didn't I? Let's go. And by stamping off more than once, you're not wasting your ink, but also you're then getting, you know, different tones of your stamping. Hi, Helen. Let's go with some more of these. And again, I am not overthinking it. I am just stamping and not thinking about it too much. Trying to create, it's a sort of very celestially dreamy background, but vintage at the same time. So let's go with those big ones, and then let's give that a quick wipe. Let's switch to the smaller one, and let's go with maybe Faded Dreams or Mermaid Lagoon. Ooh. Choices. Let's go, I think Mermaid, oh no, I'm going to go with Faded Jeans just because I want it to be a bit darker. You find with some inks, like you can stamp multiple times and get lots of impressions out of them, and others you just like, you stamp them once and then the second time is a lot lighter. So that third time, that didn't really do anything, but other ones you could do 4 times and they're still keep going. Oops, sorry. Oh, there's a little heart thing at the bottom there, so I always have to keep moving the comments up to read the last one. I'm well, thank you, Helen. Did you have a lovely birthday? There's been a few people's birthdays recently, isn't it? What is it? What's September, isn't it? Couldn't remember what the month was. It was Alfie's little friend's birthday. Yesterday? No, not yesterday. It wasn't his birthday yesterday. It was his birthday on Wednesday. I'm losing track of the days again. Should be a bit better now the schools have gone back. Oh, that's good, Helen. Let's do, and let's do one more there. Right, I think that's enough of that one. And let's go with, what should we go with? Let's do some stars, actually. We haven't got any, the star cluster from the other. I feel like one is missing. More than one is missing. That one's missing. That's moved to there. This is how much I've been using these stamps. So they've all got dirty and they're all falling off the thing. So I think I'm going to have to give them a clean tomorrow. Make sure their backs are clinging. Let's put the lid on that before I put my arm in it. Let's go with the cluster of the stars. So there's two sort of the stars. I've got individual stars and we've got the moon with the stars, but then we've also got a separate cluster because I thought it was important that to build up the amounts of stars that you wanted on there. Is that? Yeah, that's okay. Right, now I used, let's go with ground espresso, and then I might colour them. So we have a little bit of a different, so I'm going to put that to the side to ink it. So I get a little bit of a different colour on here. So that. Or maybe pop in with, what am I doing this with? Archival. I might just grab my pens because they will give a nice solid colour, and also it doesn't matter what you're sort of putting them on with. Let's just do a few of these and then we'll colour them, and we'll make them nice and bright and yellow, so it's sort of a contrast maybe to the vintage feel. Let's go there. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 in different places. So let's pop that there. Let me grab what we got. That's a sort of an orangey. What's this one called? Dark Chrome Yellow. So Pitt pens are India ink, so you can basically use them with any ink pad because they're not neither alcohol based or water based. I guess I don't quite what they are. They're a permanent ink. They're Indian ink. They have good light fastness. I'm not sure. I don't 100% understand the whole water based thing, and well, being waterproof and water, because some things are water based, but they're also permanent when they dry, and then that confuses me. Then chocolate orange. Ooh. I had Maltesers today. Emma bought me a pack of Maltesers yesterday, a big grab pack. I did share them a little bit, and I didn't eat them all in one day. I do love Maltesers, one of my faves. Still got to find the Ferrero Rocher ice creams. Anybody know who sells them? It's probably going to be a shop I never go in. I've got a feeling Sainsbury's do, but I don't tend to go to Sainsbury's very often. But I've got to find somewhere that sells Ferrero Rocher ice creams. Because I see them on the adverts and I go, ooh, one of my favourites. I'll probably be disappointed, won't I? That's happened before. I've like looked and looked for something, and then when I've eventually found it, it's never been as nice as what I thought it was going to be. So although this is a yellow, it's actually, I think, blending quite nicely with the other colours on the page. It's not a bright yellow. It's more of an orangey, almost a vintagey sort of yellow. So I quite like that one there. It's quite nice. Right, let's pop that pen back. Let's see what we're going to do. Shall we stamp some moths onto ledger paper and colour them? See what that's like. I don't know. Or shall we go with, let's maybe stamp. Let's try stamping onto the pattern paper. I've never tried this. I stamp onto collage paper and tissue paper and use that. But I'm just wondering what this would be like, or whether it's going to be a disaster. We'll soon find out. Right, so let's turn it that way around. We'll use the ground espresso, and we will stamp out the large Luna Moth. Gosh, I think it's got hotter again. Oh, go in there. I'm just going to sit there for now. It's only still in the packet. Right, let's have a look. Let's grab. We need a bigger block. Oh, this should be interesting. Right, I'm just wanting the actual moth rather than the moon around the moth. So let's just, as long as I aim mostly in that area. No, I'm not using a stamping platform, so hopefully I'll be okay. I sort of want it to have, let's do it across this texty bit because I want it to have a little bit of the text in it so that it just gives it a bit of a different look. Any little bits that get left can always be sort of just added as texture into the background. So I'm trying to make sure I'm giving it a really good press down. Oh, that's very pale. I wonder if I use Versifying Clair, because that, you can't really see that. And that was the darkest of the, sometimes I find with the archivals they can be a bit they've made me have to allow your comment then. I thought, oh, so holding something for review. What is that? Right, let's go. I'm going to go do that here. Maybe it'll be better here. I hope, because I'm still in shot. All right, let's see if that's, oops, that's a bit better. I don't think, to be fair, yeah, because it's so absorbent, this paper. See, that's gone all the way through, and it's gone a little bit wibbly wobbly. It's poor. I'm guessing it's sort of spreading out. The ink's spreading out from the actual image because I think because it's so porous. So I don't know. Let's try and I don't know how wet that's going to be now because that's wet, isn't it? Let's press that down there. Maybe I should have just gone with some book paper or something. Yes, it's really, and it's still going through. I don't think this is going to work, but it was worth a try. Yeah, it's really. So now we know that pattern paper, as in sewing pattern paper, does not act the same as collage paper for stamping onto. And to be fair, it's probably was, I mean, it's never been intended, has it, to be, oh no, I just wanted the actual, oh, I'm going around the whole thing now. It was never intended to be stamped onto, was it? I'm probably going to end up with, it's probably going to blend too much, actually. I might have been better just going onto watercolour cardstock and cutting it out. If I don't get this finished, what I might do is actually then just come back next week, get as far as I can tonight, and then come back next week and finish it off. Maybe I should do what I did before with my other page, where I did sort of like the background in one week and then did the focal points the next week. That might have been a better idea, wasn't it? Right, so let's have a look. Let's see what that will go like on there. Yep. Where are you? Let me see. Where's that one? See, I've got a feeling that as soon as I put anything on that, it's probably going to run. I've got my liquid, my matte medium. I could stick it. Should we just, let's do one in the middle, just so that, and then if it's a disaster, oh, the lid won't come off that then. There we go, that's fine. I'm putting some matte medium down. So I could have them all going up the middle. Now what's that? That's the side I stamped onto. So let's put a bit on the other side. And let's pop that on there. So I normally use my distress medium, but I've got more of this one left, so I thought I'd go with this one. Actually, do you know what? That's all right. Don't mind that. I've now folded that up a bit weirdly, but I don't know. I think I maybe shouldn't have stuck it there. Might have been better off sort of up here or something. Yeah, matte medium is it's like a very fluid glue. And it's matte because it is a matte one. Liquitex is, and this is professional, Liquitex is one of the most expensive ones. You can use something like like a soft gel medium, things like that, to do the same sort of thing. And sort of there are cheaper, but I don't think I'm going to put that one on. I've decided that I don't like that after all, but I might. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do more to the background, and then next week I will do the focal points. Right, so I might actually use some of this rather than stamping it. I'm going to use some of this as texture. It has got a sort of a more matte side and a more glossy side. It's not tearing how I wanted it to tear, to be totally honest. I might decide that I'm not going with this at all in a minute. That's a bit better. Can I use it to stick background? I wouldn't know. I would. It's really only for attaching sort of lightweight things. So like your tissue papers, your collage papers. Very light paper would be fine, but well, I mean, yeah, so if your paper was a lightweight one, it should be okay, but it is more for doing your really sort of lightweight things, more of sort of for collage. I'm going to stick some of these bits on just to have a bit of background texture, and then we'll put some washi tape on as well. So if you see how, like, that's how wet, sort of fluid it is. It's really fluid. I tend to also, I'll put it on my page, on the back of what I'm trying to stick down, and then over the top as well. So it acts like a sealer as well as a glue. And so these should now stick and still be able to see through them, but give a little bit more of a vintage vibe. That's all just folded in on itself, hasn't it? Right, let's put that there. I've put way too much medium down there because I'm just squeezing it on. And where I've used Distress ink in the background, that will move with the matte medium, but I generally don't mind it. Also, this is quite nice if you've got like your stencil tape down the middle of your page to, you know, to stick it together, then I'm going to try doing that without actually putting it on the back of it, because there's so much there. You know, use your collage papers and your tissues and things and your washes to make a bit more of a nice feature of that, instead of it just being bless you. Sort of like just a stencil tape down the middle. Or you can always stamp onto your stencil tape and make it a little bit more interesting. Let's have this bit here, which way it goes, stitching lines. It's got all stitchy things on it. If I was sticking a background paper to card, I'd probably be more likely to use something like a thicker PVA. Would probably be better. And you could also still sort of spread it out, but that would be a bit more I don't know if that was going to go there or if that was to go over there. That would be a bit more substantial for a heavier weight cardstock or heavier weight paper. Let's just stick that. Did I put glue there? I did, didn't I think? This is so thin though, this pattern paper, that it's doesn't actually take as much glue as what I've been sticking on there. It's putting tons on, haven't I? There, gives it a more of a distressed vintage look. And then let's grab my washi tapes, wherever. There, that's where I put them. Maybe have some of this down here as well. So what I like to do, I don't want so much of all the full moons. I want more, some with the, you know, so you can see more of the crescent moons. And then, now washi tape is already sticky, but it is meant to be like repositionable. Well, it's not meant to be, it is repositionable. So I tend to, if I want to use it as a design feature, as opposed to just, you know, using it to, I think originally people use it in planners and things like that to temporarily stick things, whereas I use it for decoration. So I tend to stick it down with either like a PVA or my medium, so that it is permanently there and it's not going to keep on coming up, because otherwise it will keep sort of rising back up again. Oops, I am putting way too much glue down. Gluing for England here. It's because I should probably put it in like a little pot or something, you know, and then just took out what I needed. And sometimes I like to do sort of tear my washi tape a bit more as well, and it gives it more of a sort of a different edge to it, because I don't always like the very straight edges you get with washi tape if you just stick them down as they are. But like that, that's quite nice. Let's go with some of this small one and we'll stick it down the sides of that one. Where's the edge? Where's the end? Is that it? Yeah, there we go. This is very, oops, just tore through that a bit, but never mind. I think with tissues and things, even if you tear them, you can generally sort of either just take that bit off or re-stick them into place. I was going to try and tear that. I wasn't going to tear. Put that there. I think I'm going to just grab a bit off the top of that just to go over the top. So I've got a bit there. So now I probably will want something over here. So let's go with, what else have we got? Let's go with another bit of this, just because I want it all to sort of fit together. But let's, oops, that didn't really work, did it? Even if you do that, see, then you can just stick those little bits in other areas. Hi, Corolla. Oh, I'm struggling to tear this now. Right, let's go. Let's take that bit there. Let's go up here, because I'm now going opposite to there. Way too much. It's probably take 3 million years to dry now, won't it? Do you know what I might do? Because now I'm going to do the background and then leave the rest till next week, I can do some texture paste, which I wasn't going to do because of the time, but now I can do that. So I may have to grab some in a minute and we'll put some texture paste through on top of these layers, and then we can use maybe some explosion powders or sprays or something next week with it. That will look cool. All right, that's that one. Do you know what? I think I'm going to leave the number ones. I think I'm going to stick to the same of the one that I've got going on here. So let's sort of keep it in the same theme. I think that's quite nice. Just that. Do you know what I do? Actually, no, I'm going to straight away ignore my last comment. This is how I do craft. I'm going to go with these. I just want some little bits of the numbers, just as little extra accents just around. The thing with washi tapes is because they're sort of like your collage ones as well, in that they are quite see-through, so you can see other layers underneath. That's part of what I like about using them. Just trying to find where I'd actually stuck that. Put that. So this one, these are the white ones. You can get ones that are very black. I've got like a tape measuring one that's got a lot of black in it actually, but I don't think I want to put too much black into the background. Let's go with the normal numbers, as in, the ones that look like they're meant to be on, I think, a calendar. Stick a bit of that down there. And then we will have perhaps just a little tad down here. A tad down here. Love that word, tad. Oh no, that goes to 8 and then it starts on the numbers again. I don't know what them numbers are then. I thought it was going to go up to 31, but how strange. I'm going to have a little bit more of this one. I've just decided. Some little tiny bits. Oops, that's not stuck. Sticking to my fingers, that's the trouble. My fingers are now so super sticky. And maybe a little bit more out there. This is, I tend to then sort of not know when to stop with the washi tape. I do end up sticking far more on than I intended. There, on there, and I think just so that's all the crescent moons now. I wanted a bit more of the darker one, but let's go in there. I think that's it. That's it. I'm not going to put any more of that on. I'm just going to do some stenciling with the texture paste. So let's move those. Pop that in the water, because that is important. Move my moth across there, my Luna Moth. And let's just grab some texture paste. Oh, crackle or normal. Let's have a look what we got. That's gesso, we don't want that one. We want crackle or plain. What do we think? So I've got normal white texture paste, and then I've got the get crackled paste. Now I'm going to give this a quick blast with my heat tool just to dry it off slightly before I put the paste on. So if you want to somebody say what one I should use, and if you've got earphones in, you might want to just take them out for a sec. I'm going to dry off some of this matte medium. Crackle. Right, Martin's first in with crackle, so we'll use the crackle. Right, so it's a good job I'm going to leave this then, because it will take the week to actually crackle. Let's get a palette knife and let's find my stencil again, which I hadn't got the ink off of, but that could be interesting, couldn't it? So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go, should we go, let's go across this way. I've got so many ink pads just sitting in front of me now. Let's start over with a bit sort of coming through. So I'm not sort of going for a perfect sort of the whole thing, if you know what I mean. I'm just going for sections. Now, the thicker your texture paste, the thicker your crackles will be. Let's cross like that. And again, it's not going to be perfect stenciling either, because I am doing it onto this book, which has got other pages sort of done in it. It's got all sorts of bits and bobs. Let's wipe that off of there. And then we'll go maybe a little bit going back up. So it's, you know, sort of a, this page is worse because this is totally on top of the ones that have got a lot of texture on the other pages underneath. So let's go. I think I want a bit in that star there. There. So let's wipe that edge down. I think I want just a little tiny bit just in this corner. So that's, yeah. So by next week then, that should have all, well, it won't should have, it will have dried, and we'll have the crackles in it. And then maybe we'll put a little bit of colour over the top of, of that to really highlight it. And then we'll add on any focal points with the moths to actually finish off the page. So, oh, now I've got a nice, I haven't even got an Emma here to be able to say, Emma, can you put that in a bowl of water? So do make sure with your paste and things, you do clean them off your stencils, because you don't want to block any tiny little holes up. Now, I do tend to, I scrape my stuff back in, and then I tend to stack it down a bit on the table to sort of move it away from the top. Whoops. If you've ever got mediums with foil tops, do try to keep, it's not always possible, but do try to keep the foil to help stop them from drying out. There you go, and make sure you always do put the lid on as soon as you can to protect them as well. But I'll leave it then at that now, so that that can all dry and crackle. I might just sometimes, any extra bits is just extra added texture. Let me just check that there's nothing sticking pages down, because that's the other thing. You do want to sometimes check that you haven't sort of attached it to the page below, and then when you go to open it, it all sticks together. So that is as far as I will go tonight with it. And then next Friday, same time, 8 o'clock, I'll come back and I will finish off adding a bit more colour, and then add our feature moths. So we'll probably add some of the Luna moths, some of the smaller moths, to make a feature going across to finish off the whole of the spread. So thank you ever so much for joining me this evening. I've got nice crackly fingers now. Hope you have a lovely rest of the night and into the weekend as well. And I will be on HobbyMaker TV on Sunday 3 and 5 to launch these stamps and this my new stencil for Cleverprints. So thank you ever so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Now this is always a weird one, because I have to sort of take it out of the thing to turn it off. So I will just go down like that, and then I can press the button. Bye.